Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. If you want to follow along, we will be back in the 20th chapter of Genesis. Genesis chapter 20, beginning in verse 3. We'll continue in Abraham's, trying to figure out what to call it. We'll call it Abraham's journey. How's that? Another one of Abraham's bad decisions. The Bible says in verse 3, after Abraham had Sarah say she was his sister, and Abimelech took her, verse 3 says, but God. Those are always important words in Scripture. Anytime you see but God, that's an indication that in spite of man's bad plans, or sometimes even in his mind good plans, that God has a better plan. So, but God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, you are a dead man, because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, Lord, will you kill an innocent people? Did he not himself say to me, she is my sister? And she herself said, he's my brother. In the integrity of my heart, the innocence of my hand, I have done this. Then God said to him in the dream, yes, I know that you have done this in the integrity of your heart, and it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now then, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, so that he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not return her, know that you shall surely die, and all who are yours. But God is the opening word, and there's a couple of little things here. Let me just point out, and then kind of a bigger overarching lesson I'd like to draw out of this. One of them is this is the first time Abraham is called a prophet, and I can't help but wonder as I see that, and to be honest, I hadn't caught that until just then when I was reading that in this situation, and Abimelech points out when God says you're a dead man for this, and this man says, wait a minute, I hadn't done anything. Start with, I hadn't touched her, and even if I have touched her, he told me, you heard him yourself say that she is his sister. It's not like I went in and claimed her, went in and he says, he said she was his sister. He didn't tell he didn't tell me that. I don't know what he would have done. He might have took her anyway, but he said, he did that. And then God says, and he's a prophet. And I wonder, in reading that, it just struck me as I wonder what Abimelech thought of Abraham's actions, knowing that now that he's a prophet. This is a prophet. This is a prophet who would tell this lie. This is a prophet who would risk his life, his wife's life. This is a prophet. We need to be careful of our testimony. Is the thing that jumps out in my mind. He's a prophet. I can only think about, Abimelech doesn't say it. I don't know if he may have never thought it. But that, as I read that just then, it crossed my mind. I wonder what Abimelech thought when he found out this man, he's a prophet. Well, if he's a prophet, I wonder what the scoundrels in Israel do. Wonder what the scoundrels of these people do. But kind of an interesting thought. But the thing I'd really like to point out to you here is God at work. There again, we have that but God thing. Abraham has put everything really in jeopardy. He has put his life in jeopardy. He's put Sarah's life in jeopardy. He's put his unborn son's life in jeopardy. He's put the future of the nation in jeopardy. Abraham's risked everything once again with this lie, and but God steps in and intervenes and makes sure that his promise is carried out. Excuse me. He makes sure that His promise is fulfilled. Thank God for the but God moments in our life. There's a lot of times in my life, and I'm sure if you're honest, in yours as well, that you set off down the wrong road, but God. But God intervened and He turned you around. But God intervened and He saved you. But God intervened and changed your mind, gave you better direction, something. Thank God for the but God moments when He steps in, steps up, and does what's necessary to correct a bad situation, to straighten out a mess. I think back over my life, and there's been a lot of times people have stepped in, and there have been those but moments when someone stepped in and someone came to my aid, someone leaned over and whispered in my ear, whatever, gave me some counsel, gave me some advice, directed me in a better path, fixed my mess. Been a lot of those but moments in all of our lives. There have been times when our parents, we were about to step off the sidewalk in front of a car, and that parent reached down and grabbed us by the neck and pulled us back. And a lot of times we didn't even realize it. A lot of times we didn't even recognize that our life, certainly maybe not our life, at least injury, we had been spared. But how much more on a greater scale? How many times I think we'll get to the end of this world, we'll stand before God, and perhaps He'll play our life back for us and say, look here, look here, look here, look here. And just over and over there have been but God moments. They're wonderful when I recognize them, but for all the ones I recognized, I'm sure there are many more when God has stepped in and rescued me from my own designs. Thank God for the but God moments. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow. Have a good one.